Mr. Tiger.
Yes, how can I help?
I'm here on behalf of Vogue magazine to ask you three questions, especially about your newest film.
Oh, forgive me. Ever since the release of the film, I've been busy signing autographs and taking pictures with fans.
Excuse me, are you Mr. Tiger?
Yes, see, speak of the devil.
Can you please sign this, please?
Yes, of course. To who?
Amazon.
Amazon. Oh, Amazon. Yes. Yes. Oh, that wasn't a fan.
So, Mr. Tiger, what are the character types in the film?
The character type, yes. So, we have a female antagonist who is a transgressive character. She's very subversive because usually females are represented as, weak and innocent and fragile, whereas in this film, she doesn't play the victim. She actually plays the stalker and the murderer. And also, our male protagonist, he's actually also subversive. So males are usually represented as, masculine and violent, whereas in this film, he plays the victim. Our female protagonist is inspired by a Netflix original series film called You Get Me, starring Bella Thorne, who is actually, just like in our film, struggles with mental health and has criminal records, so she stalks the person she's obsessed with. The use of subversive characters is to hopefully intrigue audience, as it isn't necessarily common. However, we are still following the conventions on the fact that we still use Vladimir Prop's theory of binary opposites. These stairs are a bit of a hassle. Sometimes I even need a boost.
Well, Mr. Tiger, you look handsome today.
I didn't mean an ego boost.
So, what about the camera angles, shot times and movements?
Yes, so we used a plethora of extreme close-ups and ordinary close-ups as it draws emphasis and foreshadows the actions. We also used a lot of panning and tracking shots, as well as perspective shots, also known as POV. The idea was to create a realistic film so that the audience could feel as if they're in there amongst the characters and feel involved. Their use of obstructive shots as well as low angles are also evident to connote a sense of the audience stalking the two main stars as well. These shots are inspired by the thriller opening of Seven and my favorite TV drama series called Peaky Blinders. Both of these films have excellent cinematography, so we filmed some shots that had some resemblance, but mostly we added our own tweaks to it.
So, what about in regards to text on the fronts?
Ah, yes, fonts. So, we used the font that was available on our editing program, Adobe Premiere Pro. Initially, we wanted to use a fingerprint-esque font as it would closely connect to our theme of identity. However, we experimented and we felt as if it looked slightly unprofessional. However, this one is also fitting as the simple, clean look of it symbolizes how the victim was completely oblivious at the time and was living a simple life before the antagonist started to cause him troubles.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
So, what about the props and costumes?
Ah, yes. So just like the font, we actually didn't take any particular inspiration from any specific film. And in regards to the props and the costumes, we used props such as laptops and worksheets to connote the man's occupation as a professor. In terms of the antagonist, we used nice costumes to signify her class. This makes her character even more intriguing, as it begs the question why she would do things of this manner. We also used cotton buds, which was a genre convention. This is prevalent in films that has identity themes in psychological thriller films.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Any thoughts on that setting?
Ah, yes, this is actually really interesting. So typically in thriller films, you see the use of, haunted place or eerie destinations. We didn't follow this trend as we felt it was a little bit too cliche. So instead we used Starbucks. The public spot effectively portrays how oblivious the protagonist is as he was still living his regular life completely unaware of the stalker. Actually, some luck came our way because it started to rain out of the blue, which took us all by surprise. But actually, it was immensely beneficial because it established the atmosphere. Rain has connotations of sadness, which could perhaps represent the family's feelings towards their victim's death, or maybe, you know, the reason behind the antagonist's criminal actions. No spoilers for me today.
And lastly, what were the editing techniques that were used?
Oh, so quite a lot of editing techniques were prevalent, like the use of, you know, slow motion shot of the raindrop and the victim stepping out of the Starbucks. This was used to just enhance cinematography. There was also cross-cutting between the two main stars to show the contrast in actions between them, as well as portray a dramatic irony, as the victim had completely no idea of the stalker, yet the audience did, because there was a cross-cut to the stalker. Additionally, there was a light-hearted, non-diegetic score that was added. It was immensely contrapuntal, which symbolizes the stalker's guilty pleasure of doing this. Moreover, there was also diegetic rain overlay. We had to exaggerate this through editing, as we couldn't necessarily hear it from the footage itself. So, you know, that's about all the insights from our Oscar-winning film, Omniscient.
Alright, that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so very, very much, Mr. Tiger. And we look forward to the possibility of a sequel.
Yes, stay tuned. Thank you.